I'm outside the gym, but before I go in, I was yapping and I was like, I might as well turn the camera on. I was talking to myself and just like thinking about how, when people ask you the question, what are you doing with that degree? What they're really asking you is, why don't you have a job in that industry? Why don't you have a job in the degree you went for? And the thing is, I didn't even want to go to college. I applied to 3 colleges. Wholesale was the only one that got back to me. Right? So came from New Jersey down to Florida 2017, graduated Full Sail 2020, bachelor's degree. Right after college, working 3 jobs. Bachelor's degree. Dollar General paying me $8.45. LA Fitness, the same LA Fitness I'm about to go in to work out, paying me at the time they was paying $11. Interlocking Country Club, at the time, this is 2020, making $12. Working 3 jobs, bringing in $2,200 a month. Working over 70 hours a week, no car. Had to ride my bike. No, I didn't even have a bike at that point. I didn't get a bike until I started working at Morgan & Morgan. So I was working 3 jobs for about a year and 4 months. When I was a student at Full Sail, I had to walk an hour and 20 minutes just to get to school. Then an hour and 20 minutes from school back to the apartment. Apartment empty, mattress on the floor. First time I moved in, roaches on the floor all over the kitchen counter. No furniture. Walk into there, hella reverb. And then I got the job at Morgan & Morgan. I didn't have to work 3 jobs anymore. This was big, a big deal. 2021, I was finally getting paid some money, $15 an hour. And I was like, yes, with a bonus on that too, a monthly bonus. I was like, yes, finally, let's go. But it was in Longwood. I lived in Winter Park. So I brought a bicycle from Walmart, taught myself how to ride a bike, literally freaking on the bike with my tippy toes in Walmart's parking lot, teaching myself how to ride a bike. Then I had to ride that same bike an hour and 40 minutes all the way from Winter Park to Longwood just to get to work. I was the PM shift. So we worked 12 to 9. I didn't get home sometimes till 11. And I was at that time I was working at Morgan and Morgan and still working at Interlocking. Now my schedule, it was weird because I had 2 days out of the week off. I think it was Tuesday and Wednesday. But on the weekends, it was hell. Had to wake up at 5, not even 5, 4 something in the morning, like 4:30 in the morning, clock in to Interlocking, right? Then I would clock out, go back to the apartment, shower, right? And because on the weekends at Interlocking, we only worked 4 hours. So the weekends and Friday, you only worked 4 hours. So Monday through Thursday, you worked 8 hours. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, those were 4 hour days. So I would work my 4 hours, clock out, go home, eat something, shower. Then I had to ride my bike all the way to Morgan and Morgan. So I clocked in at 5:15, clocked out. We would leave around like 9 something, right? Go home, get ready, eat something, maybe take a small breather, and then go to uh ride my bike all the way to Morgan and Morgan. Longwood. I was going past over fucking I-4. Hella cars. Like the overpass of I-4, I was riding my bike there. Speeding down. Sometimes there was a hill. Then I would go down fast. Past Twin Peaks, past all these freaking stores, Days Inn to the left. And then I had to go up this hill. Oh my God. There was this hill I had to go up. And it's Florida, so it's not like there's not a lot of hills. So, but there was this hill. And riding a bike up a hill, it was steep, especially if you were already riding for like an hour. Not to mention, I I got a backpack on. My back is sweating, regardless of the weather. If it's cold outside and it's blistering cold, I got my weatherproof jacket on. If it's super duper hot, I got sweatpants and, like a shirt. And then in my backpack, I got my formal dress clothes. Right when I walk into uh Morgan and Morgan, I go up the elevator, walk right into the bathroom, change my clothes, go into the call center. It's like, then I remember I went to my TL, my team leader, and I was like, Celinda, I was like, can we meet? We went into the office. It was 8 months of doing this. I was like, Celinda, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. Not only was the job mentally draining because of what you're doing, I was a case consultant, and that's just a fancy word of taking calls, and people will call in about tragic things. Just imagine 8 hours. Every time you answer that phone, someone's telling you a tragic situation, and you gotta keep your vibe high, and you gotta show empathy, and it's like, that's mentally draining. So not only was I physically drained, I was mentally drained. I was like, Celinda, I can't do this anymore. I gotta put in my notice. Put in my notice. And I remember, it's funny. I remember the very last time I working there, and again, the people were great. It's all it's never the people, it's always the job for me. But the people were great, and I remember that last time I had to ride my bike home. There was a trail. I forgot the name of the trail. But there was this trail I had to go past. And I just remember taking that trail, and the very last time I got to my apartment, I laid down. I made sure I had a little bit of extra money because those bonuses came clutch. I was able to save a little bit. I saved 3,000, and um I was good. And I remember just leaving that, and I didn't miss it, not one bit. I had calluses on my ass. I remember one time during training, I had to walk because my bike got messed up. My bike would always get messed up. And at that time, I had a good bike too. I had a Specialized. I got it off of Facebook Market for a great price too. And because I started out with a Roadmaster from Walmart, and then I got the Specialized later on. Speaking of Roadmaster, and I'm not talking about the bike, I'm actually talking about the trucking company, the trucking school. So after I left Morgan and Morgan, I was like, all right, I gotta find something. I gotta figure this out. So I was talking to a guy that quit Morgan and Morgan. His name is Daniel, and before working there, he was a truck driver. And he was telling me what it was like being on the road and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I don't know about me and truck driver. That's crazy. Uh, what's that? I'm trying to think. But before, I think it was either before or after. Before I went into trucking, yeah, I think it was before. Before I went to trucking school, because this trucking school is called Roadmaster. It's about a 4-week long training. There's this guy I know. His name is Julian, and he's in sales. I knew him from LA Fitness, and he was in sales, selling the memberships. So we kept in contact, would speak occasionally, and he made 100K in 1 month selling solar. And I was like, no way, man. And he showed me and showed the proof. And I was like, man, that's crazy, you know? And he has his own company with selling solar door to door. And I was like, I got nothing to lose. I'll try it. It wasn't for me. But what was interesting is I didn't have a car. So going door to door and not having a car, it doesn't make much sense, right? So I brought a moped. It was a 150cc moped. I thought it was 50cc, but it was 150cc. Now this matters because on near 436, I don't remember the exact. It's where the old La Granja used to be, and it's near Carlton Arms and the bowling alley. near the bowling alley, across the bowling alley. I think it's a CVS, and there's a plaza not too far from it, where there's the Mellow Mushroom and the Publix and that area, right? I crashed my moped there. So I was trying to brake and and also like turn into like the turn lane. Basically, like with the road, there's like a there's the road, and then there's an intercut where you can uh like basically turn into like do a U-turn essentially. Like there's a spot for that. So I was going to do that to go into the bowling alley, and I I tried to brake. I was wobbling because I did the front brake instead of the rear brake, and I fell off the moped. And then I got this scar right here. So I have two. One, I don't know which one, but one is from the moped when I fell off, and the other one is from when I fell off my bike. So I was going into Interlochen and I fell off my bike. But I tried solar, didn't work out. I tried it for a month. What I did gain from that though is just the mindset he had. That was very valuable seeing that. But yeah, man, like that didn't work out either. And then I started really getting desperate. Danny, who told me about Roadmaster, I was like, man, I'll give it a shot. I got nothing to lose. I go into trucking school, fill out some paperwork, and then like how they have the system you pay back once you're on the road or something like that, or it's like a loan. Now it didn't work out, obviously. I'm not a truck driver, but the reason why it didn't work out, and this is just how crazy I am. I haven't drove when I decided to go into Roadmaster and trucking school. I didn't One, I didn't own a car, and two, I haven't drove a car in 5 years. So I went I went from using a moped, and then I sold the moped after I crashed, right? The cops came, they made sure I was all right. I got a citation, but he said it would drop as long as I go get the endorsement. I got the endorsement. It was like a 2-day thing. And it was fortunate because it was the 2 days I was off from Morgan and Morgan is when I did it. Because it was 2 consecutive days in the middle of the week. So that got dropped. But it's funny, and I had to sell the moped to get a little bit of money back because I needed it for rent. And I was also like, this shit is dangerous. So, I didn't drive a car for over 5 years. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a truck driver. I was the only person riding my bike to the trucking school. Everyone else drove. It didn't work out, obviously, because while I was driving on the road, my instructor just got extremely angry with me. I just wasn't as safe, but like the backing and those maneuvers I was somewhat comfortable with, but he was extremely angry with me when it came to like driving. And I was trying to turn into school, and then I accelerated when I should have pressed the brake, and then he like rage quit in the truck. And I was like, and he was like, maybe I'm not the instructor for you. And just very frustrated. And then after that, I was like, this isn't for me. God's that was a clear red flag from God, like, get the hell out of there. And it's funny because initially I got kicked out because we had to go to the DMV to do like to get the what was it? The CDL learner's permit. So I got that, right? And then I did that physical. I took a lift to go to, I forgot what mall it was, but I had to do a physical at a mall or something like that. I'm just thinking, man, like, wow, everything I've been through. And I'm still going through it. I've been sleeping in the whip for 25 months. For a month, I was sleeping on Candy Way Trail. Candy Way Trail behind churches before I could get a car. The final straw for me, and I was like, I got to get a car. This isn't sustainable to sleep in, to be safe, was I was on Candy Way Trail. So I had my Specialized bike and I had my lock. So I had a duffel bag. I had my Orlando Health bag, the same bag right here. I had an alarm clock and I had my Specialized bike. And what I did was, my lock for my bike, it was like this wire one that bends. So I put it in between the holes of like the straps of the bag. So the duffel bag, the Orlando Health bag, and in between the bike. So they all clicked and they were all secured. And I slept on the duffel bag, like my head on the duffel bag. And then I would like hide my wallet and stuff in there. And I did that for a little bit. Barely got slept. Barely got sleep. Slept with one eye open, basically. And there was this guy. I was sleeping on Kennyway Trail, and I woke up. I'm looking at him. He's wearing all black, not like a silhouette. And I realized, I'm like, there's someone tapping my pockets. It's like 3 a.m. I'm like, hey! So I like the Undertaker, I just grab him by the neck, right? With one hand, like I'm laying down, head on the duffel bag, open my eyes. I'm like, hey! And then I grab him by the neck. And then he slaps my hand away, right? And then I get up. I'm like, hey! Right? That was like, it was like I said like 3 words. He said nothing. I grab his head, I put it in the headlock. It was like 3 a.m. Tired as hell, no energy, sleep deprived, food deprived. I put his head in the headlock. So I got his head in the headlock, and my biggest concern was, oh my God, he has my phone. This was before I got the Google Pixel. I had some crappy phone that I got from Metro, whatever, right? And then eventually I upgraded because that phone was giving me issues. Got his head in a headlock, right? We're like rolling on the ground basically. And he slips out. Then I grab him again, right? Basically rolling on the ground. And then I got him in the headlock again. I'm trying to not let go, but I'm so freaking tired. He slips out again. Then he starts bolting. He's like, man, it was like the Flash. He had to be on the track team or something. And then I'm chasing him, tired as hell. I'm looking like a zombie running after him. I'm like, damn. And in my head, I'm like, why do I not have a gun? Oh my gosh. Um, but then like I was thinking like the first people that came to my mind, one was my mom. Like, oh my God, my mom's gonna text me. I can't text back. Blah 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 blah. And at the time, I did have a girlfriend, so I'm thinking about my partner. I'm like, oh my God, blah blah blah, right? And then I'm walking back. I'm like, fuck, fuck, fuck. And then a thought came to my mind. I was like, he may have dropped it. So I'm looking down Canterbury Trail. I'm looking. And I'm a hoarder when it comes to my files. So I got music on there. Uh, I got like pictures on there. So I'm like, oh my God, I hope he dropped my phone. I hope he dropped my phone. I see my phone. I'm like, yes! You know, so excited. Still a bit angry. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, that dude really tried to tap my pockets. And it's funny because I believe that night I put the wallet like in my underneath my pants, but my phone was still in my pocket for some reason. So I think he was looking for like a wallet. But that was, I either had it in my pants, like underneath my underwear, or it was in the duffel bag. I forgot which one. Like in the duffel, I think it was in the duffel bag, hidden under like a towel or something like that. And then I had my alarm clock. But yeah, that was like the defining moment. I still have a scar from that scuffle. Like it was a little bit bigger. It was like this and it was pink. But yeah, we were rolling on the ground on that concrete. And the funny thing is like it that was 2 years ago. And it's crazy to think about that it was so long ago. And I think he had dreads cuz like I don't know what he had. But he had like some sort of, it looked like a do-rag. I ripped that shit off. So I don't know. But yeah, just thinking about that in my life, man, like this is part of the reason why I hope I'm successful in the future because I have a story to tell. You know, I have experience to provide and I believe I can inspire people. And I definitely want to do that in the avenue of music. I love music. I'm addicted to it. Truly. You know, I've tried when my heart was broken, I've tried different drugs, try to, cope with that feeling. Nothing, no, music is the best one. Tried Kava, tried Kratom, uh, tried, what was that shit called? Uh, K7 or it's like Kratom 7 or something. I tried edibles, weed edibles, and like these shits either just made me feel sick or like I just wasn't fucking with it. You know, it comes down to genetics and how you're made up and stuff. I don't want to smoke because I need my lungs for music. I tried Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds. One thing I believe I wouldn't say get addicted to, but like genuinely enjoy is psychedelics. Like unlocking that part of a deeper part of my mind, you know? But like Been through a lot of shit, man. Getting my heart broken. That was a pain like no other because it came in waves. Like the different adversity and the different bullshit I've gone through was like sudden. Like you got 100% of the pain all at once. But with getting your heart broken, it's almost like a debuff, like a poison. Like you get hit 100%, and like while you're still going through the fight, you still fighting the boss, the enemies. That shit's still like -10% throughout the fight, and you got that shit at the beginning. So yeah, but that's for a different time. Just thinking about everything, man. It would be so unfortunate, but this is real too, that no one knows about my story. No one knows how much I love music and how creative I am. No one knows the amount of dedication, sacrifice I've done to get out of student debt and, just be free, be baseline. I'm 26 right now. I turn 27 February 2nd. It's September 2nd today, 2025. And, it's frustrating, man, honestly, because if I was at where I'm at today and I didn't go to college, I would be doing pretty damn good for myself, I believe. You know, I'm making 24 something an hour at my current job. I'm still working part-time at the golf course. I'm averaging about 3,800 a month. But Sally Mae is taking 620. Mohila's taking 190. I got my car insurance down. I got Geico now. So I'm paying 96, but there was a time the first year I got insurance, I had some bullshit. I had some, they were called acceptance or something like that. I was paying $400 a month on top of a car payment, and I was getting paid less. This was when I was working 80 hours of overtime. Now I'm limited on my overtime, but I'm paid more, so I don't need to be limited because I got promoted. But I got promoted 6 months ago, in February. But it's a lot, man. Like, I'm starting to get emotional. Like, I'm about to go into this gym, work out, take a shower, and, while I'm working out, I listen to my demos. And sometimes I'll listen to the demos and I always get this flash, this almost like imagery, this this image, this video of me performing my song and people sing along with it. You know, it's a dream. And just everything I've been through, And I'm still so far away. I still have so much I gotta do. I paid off Lending Point, but there's still Sally Mae, there's still Mohila. I paid off my car in 8 months. But the car needs repairs still. I listen to my songs, my demos. I listen to my demos, and I always imagine myself on stage. You know, two specific like images pop in my head. There's the famous walk that Little Yachty did when he was performing Coffin, and he's like this, and then he's dancing out on stage, and then the crowds are going crazy. And then there's Trippie Redd when he's performing Dark Knight Demo. It's like a really short clip, but he runs out of the smoke, and then the crowd's going crazy. Count my guap, count my guap. And then you just see them going insane. And I always imagine, and I always feel like that should be me. That should be me on stage. You know? There's been plenty of times I wanted to quit music, but I can't. Even, here's the thing, even if I didn't, say I never wanted to pursue music professionally anymore, right? When I listen to a hot beat, the hook, I'm coming up with the hook. With some of the demos, sometimes I'm not even saying words, it's just the flow. And then like with a hook, but I'm building a song. I have demos from 2020. There's a song called Bad Bitch. I love that song. That's a hit. I'm saying it now. I guarantee that's a hit. And there's another one called I Got It. That when I drop I Got It, game over. And I made the beat for that one too. I just hope I'm successful. Cause I don't I don't think I'll be mentally able to take it. Like, here's the thing. Going through all this shit, sleeping in the whip for as long as it has been, and just not having an apartment, and doing that, doing this, I'm going to ensure that I'm in a better situation before I do get an apartment again. And how will I do that? Paying off Sally Mae, paying off Mohila, getting gyno surgery. Those are like the big two: getting out of debt and getting gyno surgery, but also making sure I have enough money to cover rent for a couple months. The goal's about 6 to 8 months. And here's the hard truth and reality that I had to personally accept. No one gives a fuck about your struggle unless you're successful. I truly believe that, because here's the thing. I've told you about me working at Morgan and Morgan, how I had to ride my bike an hour and 40 minutes, how I even walked once, 3 hours, how I worked 3 jobs, LA Fitness, Interlocking, Dollar General. There was times where I worked 16-hour days, Tuesday and Thursday, because I would work at Interlocking. I would leave, go home, then Dollar General's right across the street, because at the time I was at Red Lion. So I was right across the street was Dollar General, and right down the road is Interlocking Country Club. You know? So it's all the shit I've been through and all the adversity won't be as impactful if I'm not successful. The only reason why what I've told you and what I've been through has the impact and the power. Now, yes, it's inspiring overcoming that adversity, but it's the fact of where I'm at currently. I'm not working 3 jobs. I'm still working 2, but I'm not working 3. And I'm not paid less, a small amount of money. You know? It's the fact that I was paying 400 in car insurance. No accidents, by the way. Now I'm paying 98. It was just the fact that I never had a car before, right? So I never had insurance before. So, but yeah, man, like it's hard because it's like I imagine a life for myself, but I'm trapped in this one. And one of my biggest fears when it comes to music and me being an artist is that I'm going to get too old. Now, people tell me, I mean, you're 26, that's young. If we're looking at the numbers, yes, I'm young, but it's about how much mileage. I just told you a lot of what I've been through. That's a lot of miles. That's not 20,000 miles. That's not 40,000 miles. That's 100,000 plus miles. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm a Toyota Camry, even though I'm pushing. I just got the best mechanic. So, and that's God. Like I'm gonna be honest. So I'm not saying I'm a Chrysler either, but shit. So I hope, I pray. Here's one thing. This goes this goes for no debate. Um I'm going to ensure I get rid of Sally Mae. $620 a month is unacceptable. I've been paying that throughout the pandemic too. I've tried calling them. I tried doing different forms of payments. It's a fixed payment. Even during the pandemic, I had to pay. So what I'm going to do is ensure that ultimately I don't that I'm in an ideal scenario where I don't have to worry about Sally Mae. I don't have to worry about Sally Mae. I don't have to worry about Mohila. And my life is just more ideal. You know, this is way far into the future, but the next album I want to release after Gleam, because I do plan on getting Gleam remastered, but the next album is going to be High Me. And I could say this now because I know no one's going to see this video, only if I do become successful. But that's my plan. And I can't focus on music. I can't focus on Crate Tracks, the trading card game I want to make. I can't focus on Kami's Paragon, the animated series I want to make. I can't focus on these things. Even a relationship. Now, I was dumped. And that hit harder because this is the lowest point I've ever been in my life. So I'm just getting lessons. You know, I'm just getting lessons. And, you know, the rabbit hole goes deep. I was stealing toilet tissue from my school when I was a student. There was a time I was on academic probation. I had to walk 7 hours. I had to walk from the school. That was an hour and 20 minutes, walk home. Had to get ready. It was like 4 a.m. I started walking all the way to the Orlando Zoo. I got lost on the way. It was like 21 miles. Damn near walking a marathon. Legs tired. Got there hella late. Fell asleep on the bench there. I ate my 2 sandwiches, fell asleep. Woke up, I had my Full Sail lanyard. I had to use the laptop to take selfies. I remember when I was getting close, I had my phone on airplane mode. And I was taking screenshots. Like I was on Google Maps. I was, all right, this road, take screenshots, put my phone on airplane mode, looking at the pictures. Do I go this way? Do I go, like, fuck, man, like this shit goes so deep. And I hope I'm successful, man. Like, I hope I become successful. And some people may look at this video and, I mean, me in the future, I'm out of debt. I paid off Sally Mae. I paid off Mohila. I got gyno surgery. I've had gyno since I was in the 5th grade. I was always a fat kid. And then I went vegan the summer of 2016. Going into 2017 in September, people was like, what happened? You got lipo? Because I lost 50 pounds in 2 months. I crash dieted, so it wasn't healthy, but, I lost the weight. I went from a 38 to a 32. It goes deep, man. And I hope I can provide my journey and tell people of my journey through my music and just make people feel good. I got songs where I'm extremely lyrical and introspective. And then I got other songs that, you just turning up at the festival. But I'm going to feel so much lack personally. Even if I do become, even when I do pay off Sally Mae, pay off Mohila, get gyno surgery, it won't be enough. Because Sally Mae's not going to get paid off in a couple months, it's going to be probably another 2 years. Sally Mae's currently at 43,000. The goal's to pay like 1,900 a month. So it's not like I'm not even close. We're looking at another 2 years possibly. I'm trying to hold it together, man. It's like I just hope to God. Man, this shit crazy. Uh, that's it, man. Like there's nothing much I can say. I'm gonna go back to a previous point. People don't care about your journey unless you're successful. That's my humble opinion. Someone parked next to me, so you know, I didn't want to look like the crazy dude recording the video, but they in the gym. No one cares about your story unless you become successful. This is what I truly believe. So I had to become successful, or all the pain I've endured was in vain. Even if I pay off Sally Mae, even if I pay off Mohila, even if I pay off, I get gyno surgery. I already paid off Lending Point. I do all these things. That's still damn near 4 years of sleeping in the whip, and that's just not enough for me. That's not an equal exchange. And the reason why it's been taking me so long is because I had to pay the car off for 8 months. And then after I paid off the car, I had to do repairs for the car, as well as I was also dealing with Lending Point. Lending Point was a personal loan I took out to cover Sally Mae expenses. So I took out a loan for like $8,000, gave them $1,000 back, gave Sally Mae like, no, I tell you, it was like $9,000. This was back in 2022. I gave Sally Mae 7,000, gave Lending Point back 1,000, and then the rest I used for like groceries and like rent coverage. So again, I don't tell you my story because I want pity, sympathy, or any of that, because it won't do shit for me. And if I don't become a successful artist, outside of friends, family, and people I come across on a daily that I tell them, yeah, I was homeless, I slept in the car, they may, be like, man, you got a lot of dedication, man. But none of that shit matters, bro. If I was a trust fund baby and I had everything all handed to me, no one would really care. They would just be like, ooh, flashy thing. You got a Lamborghini? They don't give a fuck how you got the Lamborghini. You got a Lamborghini. They don't give a fuck how you got all this money. You got money. You know? Now, hearing that you had to go through a struggle and go through a lot of bullshit makes it nice. It makes people want to justify the reason you have shit. But it don't mean shit. At the end of the day, you're only entitled to death. So fuckers we talking about. Hey man, I gotta get this workout in. Not only am I going through all this bullshit, I'm also trying to improve my physique at the same time. And my wardrobe as well. I've been on Shein, I've been on Amazon. I dress better now than I did before. But that's just the thing, you just gotta, you don't want to look like you're homeless, so you gotta overcompensate. All right, that's it. I'm done.